Podcast record. Okay. All right, we're back on the air here. We might have a few technical issues, which we're used to encountering. We got a nice, wonderful setup going this week. Finally got a producing program, so hopefully you didn't miss too much there. Again, this is the eighth episode of Pacific Football Weekly. We're here down in Northwest Portland at Blitz Pearl. That's 110 Northwest Cooch, as I keep pointing out. Howell's Books is right over there. Great place to show up on Monday nights about 8:30 if you want to actually be on the show. We've got a wireless microphone here, and later in the program we will actually be able to go around and talk to anybody who's here about minor league football, professional football, lingerie football, anything that comes up that's got football involved in it. So, all righty. Well, hey, let's get to it. This week's games. Let's see here. We had 8 games. The big one that the one that I got to was Southern Oregon playing at the Raiders, and they won Southern Oregon 9-6. Won with 1.8 seconds left. Jason McGregor getting the field goal. After that, the Monarchs beat the Outlaws 49-12. The first time Portland didn't score 60 points, so the dream season is over for the Monarchs. They're going to have to reconnoiter and figure out what else they can do to make the season special. The Warriors beat High Desert 38-6. The Lightning finally struck there in Central Oregon. Good for you guys, finally. We've been pulling for you. And Springfield beat Klamath 20-14. As I got at the Buzzards, they know how to get to an overtime game. That's 2 out of 4 games they've been to overtime, and 1-1 in Klamath. 3 losses by 10 total points, and the 6-point loss was in overtime. So they're giving their fans a massive thrill out of games after that first game against the Monarchs. Let's see. Then so that's the South. Up in the North, what do you got in the North?
All right. I got Kitsap beaten up on the Bulldogs 59-0. We got the Bearcats squeezing out by a field goal against Snohomish County. We got the Clark County Vipers still on a roll, beating South Sound. And then we got Yakima just barely beating South King, which brings us to the point of the week. Congratulations on your first pick.
No, actually, we got it the other way. So you went with Yakima, and I went with and I still don't want to call it the kiss of death because I think I'm gonna get a win here real soon. So South King guys, you had what's that? Are we?
The pen. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, we. Let's see, that game we got, Yakima had a great performance by John Lobestal, who 184 yards, 3 touchdowns. One of them was 84 yards. That made up for, as it said on their website, the 0 for 3 passing performance. John, come on, you got to make some completions there, dude. That was 20-15 at half, and they kept the Colts out of the end zone in the second half. Our other big stat here was Russell Schneider. He passed for a whole bundle of yards, 5 touchdowns. He's got 1,000 yards on the season, 19 TDs. Still waiting for that first interception. It's coming for you, guy. You can't go perfect throughout the season. There aren't any women out there who like a perfect guy. They want to see at least a little dirt on the.
Even Brady throws a pick here and there.
Even Brady throws a pick here and there. And Aaron Dixon, he had a couple interceptions. He's got like 15, 19 interceptions in the season. They just pile up stats down there, which, I was thinking now that they don't have their 60-point thing each week, and especially, I was thinking about Aaron Dixon. He's getting all these stats, but really he's probably looking for a little bit, maybe more of a challenge, in that maybe later in the season that the Monarchs might actually think about dealing Dixon to a team that like the Raiders. They get to play the Raiders. Now here's the thing. So the Raiders, they got a player that the Monarchs really love, Tyrell Thompson. So what do you think about that? You get going, and the Raiders trade Thompson to the Monarchs, and the Monarchs, he really loves Thompson, so he wants to get him in the backfield, get him some carries, and Dixon probably wants to get his shot at Schneider, at Russell. Yeah.
Except the Monarchs don't like running the ball.
Well, that's because they don't have Thompson. That's a double threat. I mean, they got it going if they got.
Well, if you have a person like Tony Pearson and Jeremy Jones and Corey Gilday, you're gonna want to run the ball. You're gonna want to run the ball, especially in between those tackles. Make those big guards run.
Make those. So let's see here. Let's check out the standings. Let's go to the north first. So Clark County and Kitsap County, they're up there 4-0 each. We're still on. So and Grays Harbor and South King, they are. Let's see. We're
just behind a little bit.
Okay. We're working on our technical things here. We're watching it over on one screen and actually producing it on the other. So Grays Harbor 2-2, South King 2-2, Yakima 2-2. They are Yakima's heating up too. They got this week. They have a game they probably ought to win. Well, hang on. Actually, this is a big week for them too. Snohomish has had a lot of very close games, including this last week. They got a disputed touchdown scored against them by at Grays Harbor, and we'll look at that here in a second. In their loss, 28-25. So Yakima, they started off kind of slow. Actually, they started off very slowly, getting creamed by the Monarchs in their in the border war. So that's where it's a nice bundle of teams there in the middle of the standings. So that's the north. Let's take a look at the south here.
Yeah, the nice thing about the north is, I think the top two are pretty much seeded at this point, but 3 and 4 can go to any, pretty much any one of these teams, with the exception of Bellingham with their rebuilding year.
I think Yakima is the team that I'm looking at as number 3. They're especially that they have their running game nice and figured out. So after that, South King, Snohomish, they're 1 and 3, so they're a game behind the other guys, tied for third, but they're still right in there. This is a very big game for them going down to Yakima. So in the south, we got the Monarchs way up there 4-0. Southern Oregon, after their win, they're 4-0. The Raiders 2-2. The Outlaws 2-2. They both have played their game against the Monarchs. Springfield and the Warriors, they're both at 2-2, and Klamath and High Desert, I think we pretty much got them. Although got them not in the playoff hunt. Although Klamath, they've been very close, and they've also played their game against the Monarchs, so they don't have to play them again. So they've got 4 more games, and legitimately they could win all 4 of them and end up at 4-4. But that's going to be tough to make the playoffs at 4-4. Let's go to the Grays Harbor, the disputed play. We can actually take a look at that. All right, so here it is late in the game. Grays Harbor is down. They're behind. They score a touchdown, but it turns out that there's a fumble on the play, and Snohomish actually picks the ball up. So here's the replay, and the replay as it came to us from Snohomish. There, it looks like the ball actually came out, and you can see the referee. He actually throws his bag down. There's the fumble. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're thinking, well, we got a fumble recovery right in the end zone, stopping their drive. So, and then here comes the referee. There's the ball. Snohomish, they got the ball, and the referee from the right-hand side, he comes in and says, oh yeah, the ball got across the goal line, and that's a touchdown. So that's how it worked out, and they ended up winning 28-25. That came with 1:22 left in the game. So tough way to lose a game. I know you guys didn't lose too many games. How often did it happen when you got down to a goal line that you're looking at that's not how we saw it? Or well, let's say how often. What's the toughest call you ever had in your days with the Monarchs?
I can recall a couple. One, we always scored on the goal line. No, there was. I believe a couple years ago, we were on the goal line, and I had a holding call called against me. And that made Coach Darth Vader very upset when he found out which number. Because he always yells, which number when he hears a holding call.
I hear that from the sidelines.
I'm like, don't worry about it, Coach. Don't worry about it. I'll find out later. Knowing full well it was me. And, to be honest, I hold pretty much every play. And